Hey everyone, it's Cindy. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're gonna be making some curry crab with dumpling. So I have my crab here that has been cleaned and washed with lime juice. See, I like to remove all the ends from the legs and clean the inside and really scrub here. So it's time to season this. So what do we need? So I have here 1 chopped onion, some pimento. I froze these before because it's hard to find sometimes. So I have some green and red pimento, some celery, some hot pepper, some thyme, and a chopped onion. And over here we have some crushed garlic. We're gonna need some green seasoning, and I have here some bandania, and I need some black pepper and some salt. If you guys have any seafood season mix, you can also use that. And of course we're making curry, so a homemade curry I have here, but you can use whatever you have. And we're gonna need some oil. So this crab is gonna be made together with dumpling. So once I season this crab, and I'm gonna set it aside for a minute, and then I'm gonna show you how I'm going to do the flour for the dumpling. So my crab has been seasoned. Set all that yummy seasoning in there. So I'm gonna let it marinate for a little bit, and then we're gonna put this together. So I have a pack of coconut milk powder here I'm gonna be using because I don't have any of the liquid, but it's the same thing, just add it in some water. And I have my curry powder and oil to move on to the next step. So as I said before, we're doing this crab together with dumpling it. So once I put this to cook, I'm going to show you the next step for the flour. So for our next step, once our pot is heated up, you're going to add your oil. Once that is heated, you're going to add your curry mixture in there. So you're going to allow this curry to cook and all this liquid here to dry down. And then once it's finished cooking, you're gonna see the curry greens in the oil. It becomes a little bit grainy. That's how you know when your curry is finished. So let's say you're cooking a dish and you feel like you put too much curry. In this case, I feel like this is a little bit too much curry for my crab. You can always wait till the end when you finish patching your curry, and you can remove some and then add whatever it is that you're cooking. So don't panic. You just take some out when it's finished frying. So look at your curry in the oil. You see how it's starting to get like grainy? Make sure you keep turning your curry because you don't want your curry to burn. Otherwise your whole meal is going to be bad. So this is pretty much done. See that? As I said, I think I used too much curry. So I'm going to take some out and put it aside. I don't throw in my curry. I usually let it cool on the side. And then I put it in the refrigerator. You can use it for another meal. There's nothing wrong with your curry, guys. Just put it away in the refrigerator until you're ready to do another meal and use it. And of course, this is my homemade curry, so I'm definitely not going to waste this. So I'm going to remove this and then remove some of this curry, and then I'm going to add the crab in here. So there you have it, my crab. You just give it a good mix. So I'm going to allow this to keep cooking, and then we'll move on to the next step. So while that is cooking, let's do that. So for our next step, we're going to move on to the dough for the dumpling. So I like to season my dough or my flour. So what do I add to this? I have an onion here that is chopped. I have some carrots, some red peppers, and some yellow and orange, some pimento, some green and some red pimento, some celery. I'm gonna add some green seasoning to this, a little bit of salt, and some garlic. So all of these ingredients here, I'm gonna put it in my chopper and pulse it for a few minutes, so for a few seconds actually, so that it can get all chopped up. So to my flour, I just added some garlic and some fresh green bandania. You can use whatever green seasoning you have. And I have all my vegetables pulsed up here, and I'm gonna add some salt to this. And we're gonna knead this together like if you need roti or for dumplings. And I forgot to mention that I'm using self-rising flour, so there's no baking powder in there. So this is what my flour looks like for my dumpling. So I'm just gonna set it aside for a minute until I add the water to the crab. Once that starts to boil, then we're gonna make the dumpling and throw it in there. So let's check on the crab. Oh, that looks so delicious already. This is one of my favorite. I love crab. Look at that beautiful color. Okay, so it's starting to dry up. So once it's dried, I'm gonna add the coconut milk to this, and I'm gonna add enough water. Once it comes to a bubble, as I said, we'll add the dumpling. So I just added the coconut powder to this, but I just wanted to point out that if you're using really fresh crab, it's not necessary if you don't want to add the coconut milk, because not everyone uses the coconut milk. I'm just adding it because I had this crab in the refrigerator for a while now. So just to add a little extra sweetness to this crab, that's why I'm adding the coconut milk. Normally if it was fresh, I would just leave out the coconut milk. So I'm gonna let that cook up in there for a little bit, then I'm adding the water. So I added enough water to cover the crab. Once it starts boiling, we're gonna add the dumpling in there. So in the meantime, we're gonna start prepping the dumpling. So to make the dumpling, you flour your hands. You're gonna break a little piece like this, and you're gonna roll it into a bowl. Once you roll it into a bowl, you go lengthways, and then I'm pressing it out like this. See that? I'm not making very big dumplings. This is the size I'm gonna be making. So I'm gonna continue rolling out my dough like this. So when this water starts boiling, we can just put it in there. So there's my dumpling. I just made it while I was waiting for the water to boil, the crab to start boiling. So I'm gonna add this in there now and give it a good turn. I wish you guys could smell my kitchen. See that? So this should just take maybe like about 20 minutes after you add your dumpling, 20 to 25 minutes. Make sure you taste for salt and for pepper. If you need more seasoning, of course you can always add some in there. So I hope you guys try this one. When I dish this, you guys are gonna see how beautiful this looks. So this is what my crab and dumpling looks like. Hope you guys try this one. It's a very delicious one-pot recipe. Takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth it. Thank you.